I'm really hoping that this team has the February basketball flu because this Timberwolves team cannot be trusted. They blow the 23-point lead in Chicago against the Bulls and lose by 6 in overtime. Have two 23-point quarters in the third and fourth where they also just can't guard and get a stop. Also just put up 8 points in the overtime to lose that one. And the offense kind of vanished in the second half, although we were still making some tough shots to try to quell their run. But the defense was really the main issue. But some of it, too, was just some things that you're going to end up getting hit by in any given NBA game. Kobe, White Mamba, shows up and hits 7 second-half threes. I mean, when he's hitting that rhythm, step back, and draining every triple, there's not much you're going to do to stop that. And then you also have the Sucks who were miserable, especially in the second half of this game, giving the Bulls every single foul called. If the Timberwolves player glances at DeMar DeRozan, he's going to the line. He goes 17 of 18 from the free throw line. He's going to be in the teens every time he plays the Timberwolves. That's been a constant in the last, 5-6 seasons for DeMar DeRozan, back to when he was with the Spurs. And they were making tons of shots. They were getting all the rolls. Wolves couldn't step up the defense, couldn't score enough to keep things going. And even though you have the first half lead of 22 points going into the second half, you have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards scoring almost as many points as the Bulls in that first half, with magnificent ball. Cat hitting plenty of threes, a lot at the top of the key where I love to see him. He goes 7 of 16 from deep in this game, and I really love the volume from Cat and integrating him as our best three-point shooter, except for maybe Mike Conley. And Ant can be up there, but his attempts have a higher degree of difficulty. Also, Anthony Edwards is just going alpha mode with so many of the plays he was making, and he is so spectacular and talented and can make game-breaking plays. He even did that a couple times in the third quarter when the Bulls are going on these huge stretches. He blocks Kobe White at the rim, goes coast to coast, won't pass to anybody, gets the layup, and I didn't want him to either. I'm like, Anstey can control this play. He's going to stop this spree. He's going to make the big plays, and he made some, but we didn't get that continued. And then he has 30 points entering the fourth, just gets 2 points in the fourth quarter, and it wasn't even that he was missing. It wasn't that he wasn't performing. He just wasn't involved, and it was bewildering. That kind of continued in overtime, too. Even when he was scoring, he just wasn't getting involved, and the aggression was gone. Didn't impose himself, which was pretty disappointing to see. You're like, okay, Ant, let's step up, help us out a little bit. And then the ball movement also falls back. That's usually, like we said last year a lot from Coach Finch, the barometer of the offense and the ball movement is how Jaden McDaniels is integrated in the offense. He was, I think, 5 of 5 in the first half and helping a lot on that end, and then not much output for the rest of the game. Although he did make me ask the question, can I trust Jaden McDaniels in late game situations to make good decisions? Man, did I love his season last year. It's been kind of a downer this year. He's been very volatile, not predictable, and has had a lot of horrible late game moments and decisions. He has 4 turnovers in this game on really, really bad passing. Just shocking plays. The most kind of heartbreaking one was in the fourth quarter. He turns it over for the 4th time, passing it back to Ant. Caruso gets the steal. He lets DeMar DeRozan run in front of him, his guy, who ends up getting the ball in transition, getting fouled. I think that put him up to 4 points or 6 points in that overtime. Jaden just doesn't hustle after giving up the ball. It was really discouraging to see. We've got some really bad late game stuff in there too. Kyle Anderson on the bench getting teed up by one of the Sucks, who that would seemed like a horrible, horrible thing out of him too. Like, I'm talking about the ref here. Anderson is even in the game, and he says maybe one thing. The ref has to tee him up with like a minute left. Cat hit a 3 with 40 seconds left. That was huge to tie the game up. I did not like Anthony Edwards deferring again at the end of that game. There was 2 seconds between game clock and shot clock where we could have just dribbled all that out. Anthony Edwards has a shot at the end to get a shot off and potentially win and not give them any chance. Instead, he passes off to Cat, who shoots it with 4 seconds on the shot clock, and they get the rebound. They could have had more time than they did, but it gets tipped around for a little bit. They can call timeout, drop a play for a shot to win the game. They didn't, but they took care of business in overtime. When teams have time to adjust for us, we're collapsing and weak lately. We're just going to hope it's a symptom of the time of year and that these things won't bite us so hard in the playoffs. But it's kind of been our weaknesses in the playoffs. Blowing leads, late game execution and offense. That's where we've fallen apart in the last couple of years. And man, it's starting to feel like last year in general too, as we drop games against bad teams and blow big leads, give up offensive rebounds, turn over the ball. And we've actually improved our defensive rebounding significantly in recent weeks. I'll put up a little stat here from Alan Horton, a little tweet, because it was a problem early season that I was talking about. We've improved it a lot lately, but it burns us tonight. Give up 13 offensive rebounds. Also, the turnover battle, they were even with turnovers, but they get 7 more points off of it than we do. We don't capitalize on things. Other teams will. And this is even a very good basketball team. Bulls are, 10th in the East right now? 9th, 10th? They're sub 500. They've got injuries to key players, Lonzo, Levine, Patrick Williams. This is a bad loss. Sure, it's in Chicago. Sure, they had things go their way. Sure, the refs sucked. But this is becoming far too regular for this Wolves team. For what's an amazing season in the context of our history, it's losing its luster in recent weeks. Hopefully, we can stabilize and these issues won't follow us for too much longer. Give me an All-Star break. Get this team an All-Star break. All right, peace out.